Hi there, Jay Eaker here at the BioSoul Integration Center in Louisville, Colorado, and today I would like to talk with you about the purpose of pain and how pain is actually sort of integral to life, and how that means that there is actually a purpose to pain. And if we're kind of aware of that fact and can accept that fact, then we can actually leverage that fact that there is a purpose to pain, leverage that for our great benefit. If you can, give me a like, thumbs up, do all that, share this to anyone who might be who might need this information. That would be great to do that. So just to mention that first of all before we get started. Pain is inevitable. We're all going to encounter pain one way or the other, whether that's physical, whether that's psychological pain, whether that's what I call spiritual pain. You're going to injure yourself, you're going to have an accident, you're going to get sick now or sometime down the road. Psychologically speaking, we're going to get hurt. Someone's going to say something, we're going to get triggered, we're going to get hurt. And then, of course, there's the little things that we're constantly saying to ourselves, the little tape that runs in our own heads, where we're constantly telling ourselves hurtful things to ourselves. Life's not going to go our way. We're gonna experience doubt. There's going to be loss. Eventually, we're going to get old, and we're going to die. Those are the facts. So we're going to encounter pain, and pain, it's an integral part of life. There's a way in which life is not whole without pain, actually. And so if you think of it that way, there must be a purpose to pain, and there is, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But the fundamental kind of problem is that our culture our culture acts as if there is no purpose to pain. We kind of in denial about the fact that there is some purpose to pain. We're constantly treating it as a problem. We're treating it as an obstacle. We're trying to get rid of it. We're trying to avoid it. We think that, we can't get on, pain gets in the way of us living our lives the way that we think it's supposed to be lived. And so we have a sort of cultural tendency to avoid pain. But that's not how life and pain fundamentally work together. So that causes a huge problem, right? If we don't know the rules of the game, there's kind of some rules of the game where pain and life are concerned. And if you're not playing by the rules, well, that kind of messes things up. If you don't know the rules, that kind of creates problems. Makes me think of, when I was a kid, when you hit 5th grade, you could play basketball. And so I went out for the basketball team in 5th grade, and we ran in practice. But they never taught us the fundamentals of basketball. I think everyone was just sort of supposed to know that, I guess. And so game time came around, and I was in good shape. But, they'd give me the ball, and it wouldn't be 5 seconds before the referee would blow the whistle at me because I didn't know the rules of the game. I didn't know that you can't take more than 3 steps. Or you can't take, You can't take 3 steps without dribbling, right? That's called traveling. After a basket, you're supposed to take the ball out of bounds and then check it back in. And, all of those little things that I just had no idea about in basketball. And so I didn't have the ball more than 5 seconds before a referee would be blowing the whistle at me, and clueless about what I had done or what I hadn't done, and it was miserable. It was a miserable experience, and so I made it, through that year barely, and but of course never went back, never played basketball again. Who knows? I might have had a great time if someone had just taken me aside and showed me the rules, said, "Oh, I see this kid doesn't know what the heck's going on, so let's tell him what's going on." But no one told me, and so I never went back. So I think we kind of have that relationship with pain. We're kind of making a mess of things. What is it? That 7 million kids are taking some kind of psychoactive medication 1 out of every 6 adults is taking some sort of psychoactive medication. There's this whole opioid crisis thing going on. And so, you know, again, our culture has a tendency to want to push pain away. And that causes problems. I mean, what's going on? We're shooting each other, right? You know, people are cracking. People are losing their, you know, don't want to swear, but people are losing their stuff and shooting each other. So I think at least part of that, if not a lot of that, has something to do with the fact that we are sort of addicted to sort of pushing pain away. But the truth is that pain is not supposed to go away. You know, the work that I do here, the foundation for that is something called network spinal analysis, or network care. Maybe you've heard me say that before. I've taken to calling it BioSoul integration because I've added my own flair to it. But the founder, the developer, the creator of network spinal analysis or network care is Donald Epstein. And Donald Epstein, he said, you know, if you're not living your purpose on the planet, it's supposed to hurt, and nothing's supposed to take that pain away. That's a pretty evocative statement, you know. If you're not living your purpose on the planet, it's supposed to hurt, and nothing's supposed to take that pain away. Let that sink in for a sec. You know, so our pain has something to do with our purpose on the planet. And I'm kind of working from the assumption that we are souls in a physical body. And what we're doing here is we're trying to learn how to express our soul's gifts. You know, each person has a soul, you know, soul essence. Each person has a sort of flavor that they bring to the table. They have certain gifts, certain gifts and skills naturally because of their soul's influence, and we're trying to learn how to express our soul's gifts here on the planet. The planet wants us to do that. The evolving consciousness of the planet needs us to do that. The evolving consciousness of everyone on the planet needs us to do, you know, everyone on the planet needs you to do what it is that you came here to do and to express your soul's gift. So that's kind of the assumption that I'm working under. You know, but when we come into this world, we feel how everyone is kind of pushing that part of themselves away. We don't sort of, we're not born into a culture where everyone's sort of celebrating already their soul's gifts. And so what happens is we sort of fragment ourselves. We push that part of ourselves, away. I imagine a lot of that has to do with religion, but the effects of religion on us. But you know, your great-great-grandparents, they did it. They were pushing these parts of themselves away and not being able to express their gifts. Your great-grandparents did it. They passed it on to your parents, to your grandparents, and they passed it on to your parents, and your parents passed it on to you. So, you know, it's this thing that just sort of gets passed down habitually to the people on the planet and kind of keeps getting lived out that way. So there's this, we feel really compelled from the get-go to sort of push those parts of ourselves away and adopt these false identities out of a perceived need to survive. You know, we feel like we need those people, our parents, to survive, and so we feel like we have to sort of match the way that their system says this human thing is done, and their system says that this human thing is done by sort of pushing away the parts of us, the most important parts of us. And so what this means is that most of what we believe about ourselves is not really based on who we are, who we really are, our authentic selves. Most of who we believe is sort of like based on ideas and concepts that come from our great-great-grandparents and our grandparents, and you know, as most of what we believe about ourselves is these ideas and concepts, and then we sort of adopt that and we you know, sort of project that into our own future and make it an unfortunate habit in our bodies and lives. But like I said, the planet consciousness, life wants you to express, needs you to express your authentic self and your soul's gifts. As opposed to the thoughts and the ideas in our heads, sensation, the thoughts and the ideas in our heads which don't really exist in the present moment. They're about the past or the future, like I said, but sensation draws us instantly into the present moment. If we're bringing our attention to the sensations in our body, we're connected to the life force energy in our body. The life force energy in our body sort of gives us an uplink to the wisdom of our souls, basically. It puts us in direct contact with our soul's wisdom. And the sort of false identities that are built on the ideas and concepts from the past or the future, they really can't survive in the present moment. So when we bring our attention to the sensations in our body, those false identities start to fall away. And it just so happens that pain, really draws us into our bodies, whether it's physical, psychological, or spiritual pain. The feeling of that in our bodies is strong, and it draws our attention to the life force energy in our bodies. And again, when that's the case, the false identities start to drop away. And so pain is really designed to strip away everything that's not relevant to the present moment. It's designed to strip away all of those false identities and to sort of reveal, to purify us of those false identities and help us manifest our authentic and live our authentic selves. If you look back on your own life, I'm sure you'll be able to see times when, think of some of the more painful times in your life, and I'm sure you'll agree that if you, after the fact, you can always look back and say, oh wow, that was really painful, and I'm glad that I did it. You can see that you were transformed through that pain. Some of the biggest decisions and the most important decisions you've made in your life, most of the biggest decisions, most of the important decisions you've made in your life are probably motivated by pain in some way. Pain creates huge potential in us for transformation. Some of the people that have had the biggest impact in the world are people who have encountered, extremely unpleasant things. Maybe they were, put in jail. Maybe they were tortured. Maybe their families were killed or things like that. They encountered really hard things, and they came through it, and they had a huge positive impact on the world. And the way that pain kind of does that is it draws our attention. It draws our presence, because our presence, our attention sort of carries with it the essence of our soul. And the essence of our soul starts to come through. And through that process, we're transformed. So if we can make the decision to bring our attention to what's happening, and I'll talk more about this in other videos, maybe how to do this, about this sort of idea, then we can sort of lubricate that transformation process and speed it up. So pain has a purpose. Hang in there if you're in pain, if you're experiencing pain in any way, shape, or form. Hang in there. You're going to be okay. Life is transforming you. It's purifying you. It's squeezing your soul's gifts to the surface so that you can express them here on the planet. So if you feel like this has been useful, please like it, share it, pass it along to those who might need it. And I look forward to helping you express more life. Have a great day.